I was on the team for a little bit and then went out for hockey, but I did have him in a class too. Did you have Bill in a history class?
I sure did.
What can you remember about him?
Just he was the kind of teacher I acted like a nice young boy, because if I didn't, I was afraid it would upside me on the backside of my head.
Really, huh? But he wasn't very tall, was he? I think he was shorter than I am, but do you remember his shoulders? They were so big.
Yeah.
And I understand, I didn't know then, but he's married to an Oriental lady. Yeah.
I thought she was an Indian.
Was it Indian?
Yeah.
Okay. That's Oriental. That's really Oriental.
Yeah.
But I think I know what you're saying, Ken, is the idea of the fact that he was a karate expert, or definitely in the military as a young guy, and that somebody had said he had registered his hands. Do you remember? So maybe that's what you're getting slapped.
I remember hearing that, but I don't know it for a fact.
Yeah. I remember when I was going into 10th grade, I got into a little trouble, and my dad kept me in that summer, so I read the Rise and Fall of the German Reich and the history of the German General Staff. And when I went in there, I was all prepared to do book reports, and I did those book reports for him, and he was really kind of, taken back that I had taken that time to read that stuff. But one of the things I remember in his class, and I use it to this day in my teaching, is that he had, remember that, a weekly reader? I mean, it was like a little paper that we would read each week.
I remember it.
You remember that? And I sat right across, about 3/4 of the way back on the right side of the room, and Dave Thompson sat next to the wall, and I sat in the next thing. And whenever it came to that session, he started asking questions about the current events, And Dave Thompson, he would raise his hand, and he would just analyze the heck out of that, the response, I looked over at Dave, and I go, my God, man, Dave really impressed me as a guy who was, current events and that kind of. And the last time we went out to Woody's, when Dave was with us, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Well, let me suggest an idea, okay? And the idea is that we ask a question, and I'm thinking about this question. Let me ask you this: how do you ask the question when you're asking a question from the tarot cards? How do you write your question down? I mean, how do you formulate it? Okay, if we look at the question of Bill Barney saying this about our class, how would you ask the tarot cards that question about Bill Barney said this about our class? You got some idea how would you formulate the question for the tarot cards?
Well, it's just that he thought that there were so many people in our class that could be something.
Yeah, I know that's...
Get off their ass.
Yeah, I know that's the essence of what he said, but if you're going to ask a question about that, what would you ask the tarot cards about that situation, about what he said?
Well, we could ask him if it was right.
Okay.
If it had happened that way.
Okay. That's on the line. You know what I learned, and I've done this, since I've used it, that in the foreword to this book is Carl Jung wrote he was asked to write the foreword. He was very good friends with Wilhelm, and who did the Chinese translation into German. And then when they translate this one into, and this is the Wilhelm Baines translation. And this one here is the foreword is by Carl Jung in here. He was asked by Wilhelm to write it, and what he did, Ken, is, Jung is not, he doesn't even speak the language. He doesn't really, he studied some aspects of it, but what he did is he asked the I Ching a question, okay, and I've taken my lead from what he does, and it's like the question that Jung asked was, what of your introduction to the English-speaking world? That's the question Jung asked. And so then he threw the coins, got the hexagram, and then he proceeded to describe the hexagram and the answer in the meaning of that response. And so what I've done in my responses is the same thing as what you're saying is, what of Bill Barney's comment about our class? What of it? Does that seem like a reasonable?
Yeah, as it.
What of it? What's happened to it?
Yeah.
What about it? Is there any sense to it? Is there some future to it? Is there what kinds of comments can we make about it? Because this is almost not quite, maybe 40 years later, 40, 50. This is the 50th anniversary, of graduating. So from Bill's classes, and so maybe it's an appropriate thing, definitely to look back on. But maybe there's a future in it too. So should we formulate that as the question? Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Do you think that Mr. Barney is still alive?
No, he passed away. Yeah, I forget exactly. But I used to go down to the restaurant on Broadway when I was back from China a couple of times and talk with him, And I was thinking of writing an article for the Cynosure when I was the editor there, the alumni Cynosure, and like I've done for Joe Koba. Remember Joe Koba? I don't know if you remember him. He was over at Clara Barton, and publish it in the Cynosure. And I was working on that and something for free, and I've already done something like I told you for Don Burdell. But no, he passed away, and I was really looking forward to talking with the guy a little bit more, and I did sit down with lunch and talk with him a couple of times. No, but he's gone. So I'm thinking, and let me just do this. I'm going to put this book over here, and I have, a pad of paper here, and let's set the I Ching right there, and these are the cards. You want to grab a hold of them? Can you? Okay, you got them? It's like every time I write, I throw the I Ching, I touch the book, touch the coins, and okay, let's feel them, let's feel them and see exactly what they're saying, or how somehow you transfer the energy in there, or something like that.